Hello and welcome to Oblivion Corner, coming to you in fisheye vision. Today I'm going to go outside to take some pictures in the park with not one, but two cameras. The Fuji XT4 with a prime lens and the Canon EOS 30D with a zoom lens. Let's go. The game is afoot with the Fuji XT4 paired with the Fujinon XF 23mm f2. These first few shots are JPEG straight out of camera with the classic negative film sim. Straight off the bat, I want to clarify that I'm not a professional photographer and I don't have any aspirations to be one either. I just shoot what catches my eye around me. Specifically daily scenes that are pedestrian and commonplace in nature, but have made me stop and take notice somehow. Let's take these metallic red and white hazard markers. Are they a warning? Or are they also somewhere to lock up your bike? The ambiguity is enticing, as well as how that red and the green of the weeds below is shifted in the classic neg film simulation. Moving now to some beautiful roadside flowers. I love the pink and violet shades here, so I get in close to get some of that busy bouquet going on in the background. Now I realize that some people like the creamy bouquet that essentially abstracts the background completely, but personally I enjoy a little bit of nervousness in my bouquet blurs. The start of this little ridge next to the motorway with this pine tree slightly askew is truly a sight to behold. I think that at this point I switched my Fujifilm XT4 to shoot in RAW format so I could process the shots later in XRAW Studio. It was a cloudy day, which made for some interesting lighting. I was really drawn to the contrast between the windswept look of the plants and the vertical firmness of the electric pylon in the distance, and then when a bird landed on it, well, that was the icing on the cake. It rained pretty heavily a couple of weeks ago, and I suspect that that's why this park bench is engulfed in greenery. A combination of green and brown is perfect for the classic negative film simulation. Immediately, it adds some instant nostalgia to this dejected scene. And now it's time to switch from the Fujifilm XT4 to the Canon 30D, which came out back in 2006. I'm using the EF 55 to 200mm f4.5 to 5.6 telephoto zoom. This lens has a barrel that extends a decent amount, though weirdly no focus ring, so you have to turn the entire front assembly to manually focus it. And here are a few more shots that I took with it but didn't have the action cam on. The 1.6 times crop factor of the APS-C sensor in this camera actually works in favor of adding reach to this lens. The full frame equivalent field of view is actually 88 to 320mm. This got me thinking, and I apologize for the side tangent here. With crop sensors narrowing the field of view, doesn't that make cameras with smaller sensors more desirable for people who want to photograph stuff that's far away, but in reasonably decent lighting? That to me sounds like a brilliant selling point for, say, micro four thirds cameras, bird photography, paparazzi, plane photographers. All those sorts of photographers would probably benefit from that bonus reach in their zooms. And back to the XT4 now, the Fuji XT4, with some flower photography. Macro, or getting close to the minimum focusing distance of the Fujinon XF 23mm f2, is never a good idea if you want sharp detail close in. I did get this lens knowing full well that close photography was not its forte by any stretch. I actually enjoy the deficient quality here, since it enhances the vintage feel which I'm adding with a classic negative film simulation. Next up, there was this water filtration reservoir, where I liked the utilitarian nature of the facility being spruced up by the extensive graffiti on its surface. Additionally, the clouds were continuing to be fairly dramatic, something which could be nicely highlighted using classic chrome and adding the chrome blue effects to tease out that further. Alright, on to the final stretch where I just left the action cam just basically running pretty much continuously, so I'll be speeding up some segments here. Now, not all the shots made it into the video because otherwise it would have been too long. I do try to pick out shots that are appealing as well as representative of the pictures I took on the walk. Also, thought I'd mention that I had the action cam mounted on the camera hot shoe at the start of the video, but then I opted to mount it on my backpack so I didn't have to futz around when switching from one camera to another. And another little close-up here. This one actually came out surprisingly sharp. Underpass time. There was actually a lot to take pictures of here, and the contrast between the color of the graffiti and the dankness of the grey concrete was quite a welcome sight. And now we're coming to the last couple of shots. First one with Eterna Cinema, and the second closer one with Classic Neg. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider letting me know by subscribing and leaving a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe and have a good one.